In this video, we're going to learn how to panel our boat cover. As usual, we'll start by making a copy of our model, but this time we're going to select just the meshes. So we'll go ahead and select all of the meshes individually. We're doing this because we don't want to take the actual wireframe model with us, since that can get confusing. And then we'll zoom in and select each of our access points. Here are 2 access points for the cleat, and here we have 4 access points for the gas fill cap. And once we're finished with that, let's zoom out, copy it, and put it right here. We're going to panel these meshes using the Panel a Complete Mesh tool. Before we start, let's go into the options for this tool. Here we're going to click on Specify Number of Panels and enter 1. Now we'll panel our meshes one at a time. Just select the mesh and click the Panel a Complete Mesh tool. The panels will be drawn out under the mesh, and in just a minute we'll delete all of the old meshes and take a closer look at them. Note that when we select this large blue front mesh, we want to be sure to include with our selection any points that indicate areas that we want to mark out on the mesh. These points will be recorded on the flat panels as panel detail, which will indicate where the access points need to be for all of these items. Now let's delete all of our old meshes. Our finished panels are all very close together, so before we move on, I'm going to slide them out a little bit to clear up some space. That's a little better. And now that we're finished paneling, we're going to prepare our panels for output. As usual, we'll first make a copy of all of these panels and put it right here. Now we'll go to the options under the Compensate Panels tool. Users often find that using a negative compensation factor of about 0.25% to 0.50% allows the panels to increase in size in order to help the cover fit onto the boat properly. The dimensions of the model we made our panels from was exactly the dimensions of the boat. In order to make a cover that goes over the boat, we need those dimensions to be just a tiny bit larger. If we don't apply enough negative compensation, the boat cover will be a very tight fit and may be hard to get onto the boat. If we apply too much, on the other hand, the panels will be too large and the cover will be too loose. Let's click OK, select all of our panels, and run the tool. The difference between the compensated panels and the old panels is very small, naturally, but if you zoom in, you can see that it is there. Now let's delete our old panels. And we'll make another copy of this set of panels and move on to our next output step. This next step is the seaming section. Let's go to the options under this tool. While most of the seams will need about a 0.5-inch seam allowance, in order to accommodate a lace line or ratchet strap, the bottom edges of the bottom outer panels will need about a 4-inch seam allowance. We'll start with the other panels, giving them all a standard 1/2-inch seam allowance. We'll also specify 7 reference marks. Click OK, and now we're going to select all of the panels except for these 2 long side panels at the bottom of the boat and this back panel also at the bottom of the boat. all of the other ones we select, and then we run the tool. When we zoom in, we can see the new seam along with our 7 reference marks. They're kind of hard to see, but they're in gray here. Now we'll delete our old panels, and then we'll go back to the options and adjust them for the remaining panels. Now we're going to change the bottom seam to 4 inches. Click OK, and we'll select the panels that we skipped last time, which would again be these 2 long panels and this back panel, and we'll run the tool. As you can see, the seams on these panels, on what will be their bottom edge, are much larger than any of the other seams. Let's delete our old panels, make another copy of this set of panels, putting it right here, and move on to the stamping section. Let's go to the stamping options first. And here each panel can be stamped with a unique panel name and/or numbering. For this example, we'll select to stamp the panels according to their panel ID number, which is the same number that shows up on each panel. We'll use a stamp length of 4 inches. Click OK, select all of the panels, and run the tool. Let's delete our old panels, and when we zoom in we can see how each panel has been stamped with its panel ID number. We're now finished preparing our panels for output. These panels can be outputted directly as DXF for use in any automated cutting system. This means we're also finished with our series, and we've learned how to use InPanel to make a boat cover. We can zoom out and inspect our progress step by step.